Hello, I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J Moore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, a frustrated baker, but though I'm getting a little bit better. I want to invite you, those who are watching this show live, that you can always send in your comments or post your questions on the Facebook page here on JMore, and I do glance over to look for them at different times during the show. My guest, Shelby Blondell, an accomplished singer-songwriter who, when struggling to manage all three things that you need to eat steamed crabs, which was a mallet, the knife, and the bottle opener to keep you refreshed, had an idea of creating a special tool that handles all three of those items. That was back in 2017. Today you can find the Sheller online at Etsy and Amazon.com. How at that time a 23-year-old conceived, developed, trademarked, and patented the Sheller, and the response will be to the questions that I plan to ask her today. Let's bring Shelby in.
Hello.
Hi, Shelby. What's on your plate today?
Oh my goodness, quite a few things. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here with you and with Jay Moore. And then later this evening, I'm actually playing at Ram's Head on stage, opening for Ben Soleil. So quite a few things today.
Well, I thank you for squeezing us in before your sound check and before the show, and happy to have you here. And I'm just so impressed with you. The audience could never understand. I mean, I just can't comprehend everything that you've accomplished. I want to give the audience a little bit of a background on you. You're an accomplished singer-songwriter. You've traveled internationally. 2015, you got your undergraduate from University of Baltimore in entrepreneurship. 2018, you got your MBA in entrepreneurship, international business, and marketing. You now have two businesses, which is your music, your songs hit different charts in Europe, and that is ShelbyBlondell.com. And then 2017, you created an LLC for the Sheller, and the patent came in 2020. Didn't you win a marketing or product awards, won $20,000 each for the Sheller? Tell us how you've presented this and marketed. Tell us about some of the awards on entrepreneurship that you've received on. Let me hold it up before I forget, everybody. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned, I went to University of Baltimore, and if it was not for University of Baltimore, I would not be where I am today with any of my businesses. The mentorship, the peers really helped to push me to where I am. I participated in the Atman pitch competition in 2017, and that was kind of the first bout with awards. And that was a $2,500 award that I got with the Sheller. And that was when I first really started kind of with the idea of the Sheller. And that really helped to develop. And that was in the really initial beginning days of the Sheller. And then in 2021, I participated in the Shore Hatchery. And that was a $30,000 award that I got from Salisbury State University. And that was really, really beneficial, especially with the price of stainless steel going up, and just with the different issues that came up just with COVID restrictions and switching to online distribution and different things that happened just over the past couple years, which were really beneficial in helping to move the business along.
Let me note for others, and we're going to bring it up because this is just adds to my admiration. Shelby is a fighter. She went through 2 brain surgeries. I can't pronounce it. And she still to this day suffers chronic migraines and has some lasting effects of the surgery. Just fill us in shortly on that. you don't want to dwell on it, but I think it's important to people to realize what a fighter you are and everything that you've accomplished.
Okay. So craniosynostosis is the long name for it, and I still struggle with spelling it after all these years. But it led to high intracranial pressure. So I was a Hopkins patient, University of Maryland, still a Hopkins patient to this day. And that led to chronic migraine, and then to this day, still lasting issues with that, and dysautonomia, which is a term that not a lot of people know about. And that's kind of a very large umbrella, which some other terms that people might know with that, though, is something called POTS, or neurally mediated hypertension, which are probably some other terms that people might know with it. And, that's it does lead to daily struggles and things, but sometimes it does make things hard to talk about. It does make daily activities hard, but I think the thing that's important in that is talking about it sometimes, because other people, everyone's going through something. And I think in life, you have to be that helping hand, and if you don't talk about things, if you aren't that helping hand for someone else, even if it's just one person whose day you can make, that's what it's all about.
See, everybody, I told you she's special. She's very spiritual, and it comes out in the music. So any of you who see my Instagram stories and the ones that I did on Shelby being on the show, the background music were songs that she has written and was singing. So now I want to get to crabs. My mother would tell this story. We would be at Gordon's or Brecky's, for those not watching in Baltimore, which were crab houses back in the day. And my sister and I would be picking and cleaning crabs. Now, I was 5 years old and I could clean a crab. Do you remember how old you were when you first started cleaning crabs? I mean, were you as young as I was, or?
I probably was picking crabs before I was talking.
Really?
In Maryland, I think that's kind of your rite of passage, right? I think we probably learn how to crack crabs before we talk or walk.
Well, I think I was walking, but at that time. Now, I know that you have a limited diet due to some of the illnesses. Are crabs your favorite food? Because when I met you a couple weeks ago, you said I got to find some steamed crabs. Is it your favorite?
I do love crabs. One thing, anyone that might be listening that maybe has any of the umbrellas of dysautonomia, if you have POTS, you have to add a lot of salt to your diet. So crabs actually is a really great thing to have to eat. But I love crabs, and I've always loved crabs. And I think, one thing that's interesting with crabs too, even from steamed crabs to Dungeness crabs, Alaska crabs, there's so many different flavors too. And even just throughout the different crab houses that you go to, there's so many different flavors too, depending on the seasoning. So I find it interesting too, to kind of go around Baltimore, different areas, and see just the different recipes and the different flavors that you can get.
So let's get down to, as they say in the music industry, let's get down to the real nitty gritty. You were eating steamed crabs one day, and how did the idea of the sheller come about?
Well, when you go out to a crab house and they give you the wooden mallet that we're all used to, and then those plastic knives that crack and break. I was actually out eating crabs with my parents, and I picked up mistakenly the wooden mallet and the plastic knife, and the wooden mallet end was on one end and the picker end was kind of on the other. And I just remember picking them both up and kind of just looking at it and twisting it back and forth, and kind of the idea was spinning in my head, thinking,
right,
this would be neat to have both. And I remember thinking, I have to go home and order one. I went home and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then the next morning, by the time we woke up, there was just cardboard all over the kitchen counter. By that point, I had started drawing things. I had started cutting out different cardboard that I could find around the house. And I realized I couldn't find the idea anywhere. So I had to try to think of a way to create it. And at that point, I had thought, Well, another way to add to this would be there has to be a bottle opener. Because in Maryland, if you're going to eat crabs, you have to have a beer along with it too. You have to crack something cold, whether it's a beer or a Coke or something. You have to have something to drink to wash it down with. And I was not an engineer. I'm a musician. Knew nothing about this. So some people at University of Baltimore kind of taught me different ways to think, and took me into the direction of the foundry in Baltimore, which is not there any longer. But the people there were wonderful and taught me how to use the machines. And started working with the water jets and the CNC machines, and working with metal, which was something that I never thought I would do.
So you were sitting there doing the die cutting and things of that nature on your prototypes?
Yeah. There were about 15 different metal prototypes. Yeah.
And when you started out, did you say this should be stainless steel, or were you going different directions as to what material it should be?
Absolutely. Yeah. There were a lot of different thoughts that came into mind with that. I thought about every different kind of metal. I wanted to get away from wood. I wanted to think about different metal because I wanted it to be dishwasher safe. I wanted it to be as environmentally friendly as possible because, that was one thing in thinking about the traditional way that we eat crabs. The wooden mallets and the plastic knives, they're not environmentally friendly, really, and they're not really that clean. You can't really wash them that well. So with a stainless steel, mallet, you can wash them, you can reuse them. If it's a material like aluminum or pewter, it was going to rust, it was going to break, the bottle opener would clip off, so you couldn't use something like that. But a material like stainless steel, it could be heavy enough that you could use it on a lot of different kind of seafood. I wanted it to be universal. I wanted it to work on lobster, on crab, on thick shell crab, on oyster. And, that's something you couldn't do with a softer metal.
Oh, well, it has some weight to it, folks. And let me try to design this I have to bring it into the camera. Okay. So you have a crab claw, and usually you would take a plastic knife and put it across the claw, and then take the mallet and smash it. All you need is this, and this will just snap through the middle of the crab. I saw you do that. But folks, keep it in that drawer where you keep your kitchen tools because it's got good weight. You can smash your garlic. You need to do something. It's very handy. And let's see, here we go. And I have it backwards, so let's do it this way. So this is to open up a bottle, but you could also sit there and use it for the tabs on cans, can't you?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Yeah.
You could use it to, you could use, I forgot one too. You could open that to use the can, the tab, and if you also wanted to, you could also use the picker end for the tab as well. It just depends, which end which end is more convenient for you to grab at the moment.
Right. How did you determine the weight?
That was one thing that really came down to what was the most efficient. One thing that was really important for me was all about the crack, really. I wanted to make it a 3-in-1 tool and really eliminate the use to have to, some people, like you said, they'll use the knife with the mallet on top of it.
Right.
So it really was how to eliminate that, right? So I had to try to make the design so that the way the weight was distributed, it would come down in an effective way and actually give that crack. So that's kind of how the weight was tested out. And the length too, it all came down and how to make it effective so that when you're holding it, you wouldn't necessarily hold it up here, you would hold it here so that when you're giving it that crack, it would come down and it would help to crack.
Right. You have a better leverage.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm in the reverse here. So now I'm just waiting to have steamed crabs this season and I can go to it. I'm a very slow crab eater. Give me a crab. I'm in every nook and cranny. I saw a video of you. You were like a steamroller. Boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom. What's it take you? A minute to eat a steamed crab?
Well, you know, when you're trying to do an Instagram reel and you've only got a certain amount of time to show everyone how it's done, and you've got to show them how to use, you know, all the things.
Right. So before I forget, people, more information on the Sheller, TheSheller.com. All the details are up there. You can order, and I think there are links there to get on Etsy or Amazon.com. And these are great. They're being sold in a 4-pack or individually. And if you have a special charity or event, or you want to do a group gift, she does designs on there, and she can do custom designs for whatever you want. So I happen to know that, and I think I told you the other day, I'm working on a charity for the people with disabilities, and we're having a big auction, and Shelby donated some of the Shellers. And they said, oh, you know what? I received this as a gift from this company, and they had already received it. I'm just reading my notes here. Wooden mallets, okay, and just telling people, you use a wooden mallet, you'll smash it to pieces. I can't wait to use this. Now, 2018, you came out, or you revised it. You came out with the Sheller 2.0. What was the change?
So, you know, the first original Sheller that came out was a little bit thicker. It was about a 1/4 inch, and now it's about an 1/18 of an inch. And so, you know, when I first started the Sheller, you know, I wanted it to be as universal as possible. And when I first invented it, I thought that that was as thin as it could be to actually work. And then as I kept trying to figure out how to keep going on with it, and working with different partners and things, I then found out that it actually can be the thickness that it is now, and it's actually better. And that because of the way the weight is distributed, and with the different metal that it is, the picker is actually better with this thinness, because you can actually use it as a picker. You can actually get the meat out, and you can actually use it with more types of seafood. The way it was before, you could really only use it with steamed crabs. You know, you couldn't really use it with many other things, and it didn't look as pretty. The original one was only using regular stainless steel. This one is thinner, and it's a 304 mill brushed. Not that that's not anyone cares about that, but it's a prettier version of food grade stainless steel. So it's, you know, what you would see on your utensils, your stainless steel appliances.
Right.
So it's prettier, more appealing to your eyes as well.
And the patent, in 2017, you got a provisional patent. Now, your patent came through in 2020.
Yes.
Now, because you've changed it and the thickness and things like that, did you had to re-establish the patent? How did that work?
So there were certain things within my patent that have me covered and were good, and there were certain things that I worked out along the way, and that was a long process to get that patent. It was a 3-year process, a lot of sleepless nights to get it as well, and it's a utility patent, which helps in being able to protect a lot more aspects of the Sheller.
I was just curious, and I wanted to tell people is that the patent, you really didn't use an attorney. You did all the work. Most people would go to a patent attorney. She's brilliant. What can I say? So talented. So
there are people, you know, people along the way who could help to give an eye and an ear, which is helpful for sure. And I think there's definitely some aspects of doing patents and trademarks for yourself, especially through their website, that you can definitely do. So if anyone is thinking about trying to do things on your own, you can do it. You know, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but you can do it.
Right. It brings me to a question. I usually ask, and I'm going to ask you, what piece of advice would you give your high school self?
Oh my goodness. I think one thing that I think still will continue to hold true, to not hold back. I think all of us, even if you still go full steam ahead, I think we all do hold back on some things for that fear of what will people think, or should I do it or not? Because I think we're all always fearful of failure. But I think one thing that I've learned is that there's no, the only real failure is to not learn from not getting to a goal the way you thought you would.
Right. Well, I also think that people have a fear of succeeding.
Yeah.
What if this takes off? What am I going to do? How am I going to handle it? And that's what you would tell yourself now that you've gone through all the marketing and everything to get this product out there. Do we just cover it, or is there a piece of advice that you would give someone who's looking to start a product?
If you're thinking about starting a product, do it. Just do it.
Nike,
Well,
just do it.
they have a hold on that, but the best way to just start. I guess that's I guess that's cliche with some things we've talked, but start it up, really. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty passionate about people who want to start their own businesses or their own products and things, but the best way to start anything is to just start.
Right. Take
And
the first step.
yeah, there's going to be revisions, there's going to be detours, and you're going to get kind of to the end result in different ways that you thought you would. But you don't know unless you try it.
Okay, let's see. I've asked, we've talked about custom engraving and gift packs. What is next for the Sheller?
Ooh.
Anything that you can talk about?
Ooh. Well, one thing, the Sheller, I love partnering with other local businesses, and one thing that'll always be a really strong passion of mine is to continue partnering with other Maryland businesses and retail shops and things to sell the Sheller in, but also to partner with on collaborations and things. I'm really proud to continue to always make the Sheller in Maryland. There's a manufacturer that I'm working with over on the Eastern Shore who, does the cutting for me, and I still hand sand every single one of them. So it's really nice to have that partnership still with them. So to continue those partnerships and to continue to, to improve different aspects and to continue to add certain things like pouches, and to include other businesses to do their logos and things, and to continue to do charity work and things like that, and to add events, Sheller kind of events and crab feasts.
Yeah. You did one of your songs. I'm going to ask you, I sort of forewarned you, but we're going to come back, just do a couple bars of, you created the song Start It Up or Start Up Maryland, and they used it in their promotion. Could you pull up the guitar and maybe sing a little bit, because you have a great voice? And then we're going to come back with the final questions.
Okay, I could do that.
I twisted your arm.
Well, anything for you.
Oh, thank you.
For Jay Moore, come on. See the path, create a map, see the end, tunnel in and door. may be detours along the way, but go for the reaching hand that is there to help along the way. Time to start it up. Time to hear the crowd. Pitch this world, open your eyes and ears to a new sound. Venture to reach the sky. Build an empire, no question. How far I just started out to see what you can be.
Great, great. Thank you for doing that for me and for everyone. We got a concert, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? It's just two of us, and you sat there and we give you songs and you just pop and sing it. You play how many instruments?
Oh, goodness. Guitar, piano, drums, bass, sing. Guitar and piano are the main ones.
Everybody, just a reminder, if you can get into Ram's Head tonight, you can hear Shelby, the opening act, though she should be the main act, but a little time. I have a couple of the last minute questions that I always ask. Not that you cook that much, but I always ask, what was your epic culinary fail?
Goodness. When you add salt instead of sugar, or vice versa, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many people have said that. Many. Who was it? The pie guy. He was trying to press somebody and made a pecan pie and used salt instead of sugar. That one stuck out in my mind. If you wake up tomorrow morning and you have a new talent, what would the new talent be?
Ooh. Well, I think if I could bake, I do like cooking, and I feel like I can cook and grill, but baking, maybe it's just that I don't have the patience for the waiting involved with it.
Right, and it's a science. It's not as creative. You have to be specific. And what question didn't I ask you that I should have?
You know, I think you asked all of the good ones.
Okay. I get that from people when they're stumped. That's okay. Well, you know, we're trying to work this out. Everybody, the way you can reach Shelby, two ways. TheSheller.com or ShelbyBlondell.com for her music. The Sheller, Etsy, and Amazon.com. The Sheller, you can find them on Instagram. So check her out. Get yourself ready for crab season. And if you're lucky enough to afford a lobster, enjoy. The prices of lobsters are insane.
They're a little more expensive.
Yeah, just I think at ShopRite it was $19.99 a pound. So Shelby, I thank you, and as you call me, I'm your soul sister, and we will be talking. Much success tonight. May it be a great performance, which it will be. May the audience just stand up and give you a rousing applause. Stay well, and we will talk soon. Big Moz. And I just have some announcements, folks. Don't tune out yet. No. Next week's guest will be L. Simone Scott, executive editor and on-screen talent for America's Test Kitchen, food stylist for Cook's Country, host of the Walk-In podcast, founder of She Chef and She Chef University. She has appeared on the Food Network, the Cooking Channel, The Chew. She's co-author of the soon-to-be-released Boards, Stylish Spreads for Casual Gatherings. Also, congrats to former guest here on J More, Ashish, Chef Ashish Alfred, on opening of his newest restaurant in Baltimore's Federal Hill, No Way Rosé French Bistro. So check it out. And the mother company, J. Moore, is hosting an Aging Gratefully, a free in-person event on Tuesday, April 26, 5 p.m. at the Gordon Center for Performing Arts. Exhibitors will offer giveaways starting at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Enjoy moderated conversations with Aging with Gratitude with many experts on all aspects of aging. It isn't just for seniors, so bring your significant others, friends, and adult children and experience the benefits of aging. You can register at jmoreliving.com/aging. That's jmoreliving.com/aging. You can reach me at food@jmoreliving.com. My Instagram is at Dara Cook, so feel free to follow me. The show's video will immediately be up on the J. Moore's Facebook page and on the jmoreliving.com's page. I thank you for watching the show and sharing it with friends and family. So until next week, may your plates always, always remain full.